Hello, Reborners. My name is Karen, and this is Making Reborn Dolls with Karen. We have little Bean back. She's had all of her paint and all of her bakes. She's ready to get hair and eyes. I'm not going to give her any pacifier because she's going to be for my little granddaughter, who's only under 2 years old. And so she's very simple. She's going to be teddy bear weight. I'm not even going to weight her very much at all. But I am going to remove her polyfill now so that I can give her some eyes. And Bean's a little bitty doll. She's about 16 inches. So she's going to be getting probably 18 millimeter. That's what I laid out. I don't think she takes 16 millimeter. I hope not. I don't think I have any that small. We'll be cramming these eyes in if because I don't have any 16 millimeter. That's for a very small doll indeed. But I'm pretty sure she's 18 millimeter. Almost all dolls this size are. She's got a lot of polyfill in her for a tiny doll. To put eyes in, you pretty much have to get every bit of the polyfill out, because if you don't, it's going to get in your way when you're trying to and that's when these little hemostats come in very handy. When you've gotten most of it out and the rest of it's way up at the top of the head, you can smash the head down, you sure can, but it's a little bit easier just pull it out with these hemostats. Or at least pull it down closer to the opening. That's all of it. There we go. We'll stick that over the side here. And we're going to get our cutter out. I sure hope I brought the cutter back. I did. I took it in the bedroom yesterday to open a box that I had taken in there. And I was afraid I left it in there. Okay, so we don't need these anymore. I just laid out brown eyes. It doesn't matter what color you use. You can use any color you want to. And we're just going to cut these little sockets now and get these eyes in. She's completely cold. I don't do it hot. Some people do. They think it's easier and better, and you can try it any way you want to do it and do yours whatever way you think is the easiest. I think it's much easier to do it cold because that it's true, the vinyl's more pliable when it's warm, but it's too pliable in my opinion. It's gooey and soft, and you can't make it you can't really make the eye go in because the whole socket's just collapsing or something. It just is too soft. Yeah, this is the right size eyes for her. I just have to straighten this eye up. It's a little crooked. Usually the sockets are tight enough that you don't ever have to glue the eyes in. They just go right in. And sometimes they'll have a doll, and I think Morgan is one of them. She's a little artist kit too. It'll say, we're finding that this size eyes are a little too small, and this other size seems to be a little too large. You can use either one, but you'll have to glue them in. And it's true, if the eyes are not fitting well into the socket, they're just a little big. The sockets are a little big and the eyes are a little small. But you didn't want to go with eyes that look buggy. You know, sometimes if you put eyes that are too big, they bug out. They just look too big for the doll's head. And you didn't want to do that. So you wanted to stay with the smaller eyes. You'll have to glue them in because they're just too loose in the socket. And well, I find it much harder to put this eye in than the other one on this side because I'm right-handed. And you'll find that one will be easier too. Whichever one, if you're right or left-handed, you'll find that one of the eyes is a little bit easier than the other one. Well, actually a lot easier, but usually they go right in. It's usually not that much trouble. Bean's a cute little baby, I think. She's real cute. She does have a little bit of a starry-eyed look. All the artist kits, just about every single one, is going to look a little less real than a Reborn is to me. Because their imagination, you know. And people tend to just, you know, the nose might be a little smaller than it needs to be, or just something, you know. But anyway, there she is. with her eyes. She looks pretty good, I think. And I think she's cute. She'll make a cute little doll for a little girl. But she's not gonna have any magnet, because I didn't want my granddaughter to have a magnetized pacifier to play with, because she could potentially pull the magnet off. And I've heard that magnets can be actually very deadly if a child swallows one. So I didn't want to go that route. So she's just going to have a doll. It won't have any magnets or any pacifiers or anything like that to be dangerous for her. She won't have any eyelashes, so she can't pull those off and eat them or anything. You know, kids just put everything in their mouth. I read it one time, many, many years ago. I used to read magazines a lot. And they described it as a way that babies help to identify things by putting them in their mouth. They can see, I don't know, something. It's a sensory thing. But anyway, there she is. She's all made. So now we're going to give her some hair. Before we do any of the glues or anything like that, we're going to give her some hair. And when I pencil on hair, I use 3 colors. And the reason I do that is because I don't think that hair should be so flat one color. Now, you can make it one color if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. But I like the mixture of color. Now, you can make these pencils as sharp as you want to. They're going to get dull when you're putting the pencil on anyway, but you don't want to start with a really, really dull pencil. The sharper it is, the more skinny the hair, each little hair you draw is going to be. If you want the hair to look a little fatter or whatever, you're going to want a less sharp pencil. But I always start with the light when it's sandbar brown. I use sandbar brown, and then I use light umber, which is a different color, but it's a little darker. You can't really see probably on camera the difference in the color of the barrels of these pencils. And then I use dark umber. I don't go any darker than dark umber, because when you use those other darker colors, they are just so dark they get on your fingers. And as you're turning the head to put the hair on, you're putting fingerprints all over your doll that you may not even be able to get off. So anyway, I start with the lightest pencil. And what I do is, I want to find where the crown is on the doll's head. To do that, I just place the doll in front of me, facing me. Now, the crown is usually just over. Think of the doll's head kind of like a ball, or like the earth. You know, as the sun starts to go down, sets on the horizon, it's going beyond the point that you can see, is what it's doing. And so right at the crown of the head here, where you can't see the back of the head anymore, that's where you're going to find the crown. So I just lay the head on the table in front of me like this, and then I just tilt it slightly forward. Now you can decide. Sometimes the crown's at one side, sometimes the other side, sometimes in the middle. You just pick where you want it. It doesn't make any difference at all, really, where you want the crown. You just pick a place and you put it. I'm going to put it in the center, because it'll be a little bit easier for you to tell where the crown is on my doll's head, because you're looking at it on a camera. So I'm just going to put a dot there. Now that's where my crown's going to be, right where the dot is. So now we have defined where we want our crown. I've decided the middle. Now you can make the hair go to the side. You can make the hair come down straight. It's just a preference. It's all just a preference. She's a girl. I'm going to make her hair come down straight. Sometimes with the boys, I'll make it sweep to the side just a little. But she's supposed to be a girl, so we're just going to bring her hair down to the front. It's just a little bit easier to do that. There's a slight little extra learning curve to putting hair over to the side. But anyway, the hair I make is very, very simple. You'll see people do a variety of different hairs with pencils. And some of them are a lot more difficult than other ones. Some people make tiny little, like flecks of hair. They just go and make these tiny little things on the head. I don't do that. I try to make the hair look like, you know, if you've ever had a baby and combed their hair and everything, you comb it from the crown forward, and it just looks like all the hairs are just coming straight like that. So I try to make my hairs long like that. I don't make those tiny little flicks of hair. It's too hard. It takes too long. It might look a little better, but I don't do it. Also, I don't make the swirl. I think the swirl looks really funky and fake. Now, yes, babies have swirls on their head. It's true. Unless you're just super, super artistic and talented at drawing, you're not going to draw a good swirl anyway. It's going to just look really fake. I've seen a lot of fake looking swirls, and I don't like them. So anyway, I make just every hair come from that dot, and that makes a sort of a crown. It just looks like you've brushed the hair out or something. I think it looks good. We're going to start at our little dot every time we make a hair. And this is how I usually do it. I'll usually just bring a hair, and now you can make these hairs very curvy, swirly, arced, straight, whatever way you want to make them. I like to put a little curve in my hairs. I don't like them to be real straight because it just looks choppy. So I'll just make a little curvy hair coming up to the front of the head like this. You just curve it. See, it's just a curve, and it can be as curvy as you want or as straight as you want. It doesn't matter. And then I'll do another one. I usually put two forward, two coming forward like that. Now you can make them cross over each other. You can make them very patterny in the same direction, different directions. All that's just a choice. Now I'm going to take one and I'm going to bring it sort of over here by the ear. And what I'm really doing here is, instead of drawing some map on the head that I have to take off, I'm just mapping the hair as I'm putting the hairs on. I'm mapping the head a little bit. You don't have to do this step. You can just draw your hairs. I've gotten to where I can do that, but I'm doing this for y'all's benefit. Now I'm going to do the same thing coming over here by this ear. We're just going to put one little curvy hair going over by this ear. And then we're going to bring one down straight in the back. By doing this, you can keep your hair angles the way you want it. We've divided the head in about 4 sections with 2 hairs coming forward instead of 1. That's really all we did. Now, we're going to put enough of this hair, this color onto this head that if we wanted to, this could be the only color we put on this head. We're pretty much going to fill up this head until we're satisfied with the way the hair looks. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take our pencil and just kind of cut all these little divisions that we made in half, sort of. It doesn't have to be exact. You don't have to be that exact with it. We're just putting hairs in between, really. And you can curve them any way you want to. See, I curved that one that way. And you can just do them any way you want to. You don't have to do it in any particular style. And we're just going to keep doing this until we're really happy with the amount of hairs we have on the head. And it looks a little bit funny when you first get started, but we're just going to keep doing it. Make sure you go back to your dot and put your pencil on the dot every time you make a hair. And this is not some I'm just a super artist or anything. We're just doing this to just make hairs on our doll. You can make them crisscross over each other, like the baby has sort of messy hair, or you can make them just a little bit straighter than I'm making them. Just pretty much any way you want. You see, I'm just dividing each of these sections. They remind me of the sections in an orange. When you peel an orange and you're going to section it up and eat it that way, it reminds me of those little sections a little bit. We're just making little sections on our doll's head. Some of the hairs will be closer together than others. It doesn't matter. Just keep doing it. And when you decide that, oh yeah, I like the way that looks now, we're going to stop. We're going to put however many we want. I put a lot because this is the foundation for your doll's hair. It doesn't matter if they cross over each other. It doesn't matter if they all go in the same direction or not. I mean, they can be swirly in a different direction. They can be swirly in the same direction. See, I crossed those over. See, I made a few crossover. It doesn't matter, whatever way you want to do it. What we're really doing is just adding hairs to our doll's head. And baby's hair is quite often messy because, well, they're babies. And see, my pencil's getting a lot duller too. It's okay. This is another example of how we are going to control the fatness of the hair and the darkness of the hair by how hard we press down. We can press down and make a fat hair, or we can do a lighter touch and make a skinnier hair. Now, if you want really, really, really thin hairs, you're going to need to stop and resharpen your pencil probably. And see, every hair starts at this little dot. See how that kind of looks very neat? There's no swirl, but it looks very neat. If you don't make your hair start at that little dot, they're going to be scriggly scraggly back there and look funny. So we're just going to keep doing this until we like the way our hair looks. And when you get to that point, we're going to stop. I put a lot of them because, like I said, this is the foundation for the color of your hair. We're using a light pencil in case we get it wrong. It's the easiest to remove, and it's this one's not really going to show that much. It's just your guide pretty much for doing the rest of the hair. It's going to give you a direction to put your pencil marks in, and it will show. It just won't show as much as the higher layers. The ones on top of this are going to show the most. That's when we use our darkest pencil last. Nobody really wants this color. Excuse me, I have hiccups again. Nobody really wants this sandy color hair. I mean, you might. If you were going to do blonde, you'd put, this would be absolutely the most hair you put on your doll. Mostly this color. It makes sort of a dirty blonde. I don't do straight blonde because it just looks so fake in pencil. But just whenever you think, okay, that looks good, we're just going to stop at that point. And I'm just putting a really lot because, like I said, it's not even really going to show that much. And I want it to show a little more than what it's really going to. So that's about enough right there. I'll put a few more hairs in the back here. And I think it looks really good already. I like it. That's some good hair right there. But now we're going to move to our next color pencil. If you're not quite where I am, just pause or just keep going until you get to where I am. I'm so used to doing it, I do it real fast. Okay, now we're going to move to our light umber pencil. And now we're going to just add some strokes. This paper towel is driving me nuts. It's trying to come off the table. We're just going to add some strokes of this color now, just right on top of this other hair. Now you can go in the same direction, different direction. They don't have to be on top of these hairs at all. They can be in between them. Some of them can cross over the other ones. It just doesn't matter. We're going to, again, start at our dot. If you can't see your dot anymore, refresh it with this new color of pencil. Just a little dot. Nothing circular, no big thing, nothing like that. And we're just going to start putting some of this color on. And as you can already see, it's a different color. And we're just going to put a few of these hairs in just whatever direction we just feel like going in. They don't have to be in any particular direction. Like I said, they can cross over, they can be swirly, they can be straight. Just they can be anything you want them to be. And we're going to make hair that sort of blends together to make a color that looks a little more natural than it would look if it was flat one color. And we're going to, again, put however many hairs we think looks good. And when we think we've got enough, we're just going to stop when we're satisfied with it. Every hair starts at that little dot. And we just keep going until we get enough hairs on our head. This is our medium color, and it's going to show a little more than the under color does. You may decide later on that you liked the sandy color and you want more of it. And we can add that later. That's something we do at the end after we've put all of our colors on our doll. We go back and we say, okay, what do I think it needs? Does it need anything else? And then we look at it and we decide. And by making different styles of hair on top of each other, you're able to see the other color coming through a little bit better than you would if every layer has the same exact style of hair. And now we have hair that looks kind of like this. It's two colors, and it looks pretty good, I think. I like this hair. This is some good hair. Okay, so now I'm going to move on. I think that's all of that color I want. You can put more or less, whatever. Now I'm going to move on to my darker pencil. Now this one's going to show the most. This is the one we want to have a sharper pencil with, because we're going to do something different a little bit with this hair. As we're putting the hairs on, it's almost like striking a match. You know, you start out kind of hard and you come off of the striker. People don't strike matches anymore. Maybe you've never struck one. Maybe you only ever used a lighter. But when you'd strike your match, you'd start hard on the surface and you'd come up a little at the end. That makes the hair really pointy at the end. We're trying to make a pointy end. We want it to look like a hair instead of a pencil line that just stopped. Some of our other hairs just look like pencil lines, but they're going to mostly be covered. So with this particular pencil, we're going to be making straighter, a little bit straighter hairs, because we want to make the hairs look like they're actually laying in a natural position, and they're a little bit pointier at the end than they are. I don't know how to explain it, but you'll see when you see the hairs. Okay, I'm going to start at our dot again. Every hair is, and it's super important with this pencil because it's so dark, and you're going to immediately see a different color on this doll's head. This is going to make her hair actually brown. Right now it's sandy looking, and we could actually add blonde to it instead and make her into a blonde baby. But I'm actually going to add brown. I want her to be a brown-headed doll. So I'm going to start at her crown again. I'm just going to put a tiny little dot there to refresh it, just a tiny one. I don't really want the dot to show when I'm finished. And so here we go. We're going to just take the hairs and we're just going to come. See, maybe you can tell. This hair is a little short, but still. I started it at the crown. And as I came closer to the front, I sort of lifted my pencil just ever so slightly. And the hair just looks kind of like it's pointy. It looks more natural at the end. It has a very hair-like look to it. And we're just gonna do it that way with all of the hairs that we bring forward on this doll. We're gonna try to anyway. We might not succeed with every single hair, but it's not all that hard to do. You just kind of lift up on your pencil a little as you're coming toward the front of the head. And once again, you can make these hairs be as dark, as light, as many as you want, as curvy or as straight as you want. You don't have to have any certain particular pattern to it. They can cross over any way you want. They can follow the lines of the other hairs you did. Whatever you want. That's what we're going to do. Just whatever we want. And we're going to make it free and easy. And right off the bat, this hair looks a little funny. I know you're thinking, oh, that she ruined the hair. And sometimes I think that myself, to be honest. But here's the kicker. We're not going to leave this hair so stark looking. We're not going to leave it very, very dark and stark like this. We're going to tone it down a little with some other, what I call a little bit of enhancing on the hairs. I'm going over the really, really straight hairs with some crooked hair. It just makes it look a little more natural to me. To have a little bit of crooked hair too. If all the hairs are just straight hairs like they are right now, they just look so incredibly fake to me. And so we want a little bit of curviness to the hair because like I said, babies have messy hair. And it just doesn't look normal and natural for all the hairs to be super, super straight. Now, if you like super, super straight, okay, do that. But I want them to be a little bit messy looking, a little bit less...
more natural.
Yeah, more natural. And that looks pretty good right there. But I'm going to now take my light umber and I'm going to go over some of this really, really dark hair again and sort of just, it's going to tone it down a little because it is a little bit stark. It's going to fill in some of the areas that are just a little too dark to me. And it's going to just tone it down just a little bit. We're just willy-nilly putting a few little stray hairs here and there. And then we're going to take our sandbar brown one and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just sort of wiggle it around on the head a little bit. I did get off my dot a little bit. You can see that. I'm a little bit shaky and old. You can probably stay on your dot a little more on target than I was. But unless the hair is super horrible, I don't take it back off. It's just a little hard to do. And I think that's pretty good hair. That looks like brown hair to me. Does that look like brown hair to you? Now I'm going to give her some eyebrows because I never did that. We want to find that brow ridge. We want to make sure we're putting her eyebrows on her brow ridge because we don't want them under or over. It's going to look too fake. And if you stay on the brow ridge, you can put pretty good matching eyebrows just by making little wispy lines. And that's our baby. She's together. I mean, she's ready to get her glue and stuff. We won't cover, I mean, we could cover putting her together, but you already saw how to put a doll together. But she is a full baby. We'll just put her together. It won't be a big deal. We have to wait, though, until her glue dries because it's not. So we'll be probably starting on the next doll, which is Marissa, I think. I can't remember that doll's name. I want to call her Brittany. I don't know, but it's Marissa. But anyway, this is our little pencil-haired baby. I'm going to bake her one more time just to help make this hair become permanent. It's not likely that it would come off, but with a little kid, it might. I don't want to put more sealer on her head because, well, it's a lot extra step and 2 extra bakes instead of 1. Plus, I have to bake it before I can put the sealer on, or the pencil will be coming off on your sealer sponge. You'll be seeing all that pencil coming off. So, this is our little pencil-haired baby. Our next baby will also have rooted hair, but we'll cover the rooting of the hair on that baby. So, I'm going to now put the glue on her. No, I'm going to bake her first. That's right. I'm going to get her a bake, and when we come back, she'll already be glued. You don't need to see the glue again. I will glue her, and when we come back, we'll be ready to put her together, and you'll see how to put a full limb baby together. It's basically the same, except they don't have those little pockets you have to put, you know, for the arms and the legs that you have to put polyfill in. Anyway, she'll be getting very little to no glass in her at all because, like I said, I want to make her a teddy bear weight for my granddaughter. And then she'll have a little baby for Christmas, and that'll be one of her Christmas presents from her nanny. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed her series so far. All we have left to do is put her together, and she'll be ready. And we'll be back to do that in, I don't know, 2 days maybe. You won't know the difference, but it'll be about 2 days probably. So please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And as soon as I cut this off, I'm probably going to cut it right back on and start on Marissa. But anyway, happy reborning.